Hi, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my January book haul, and I'm actually a little bit ashamed of how many books I've got. Yeah, when I had a count up of them earlier I was just a tad ashamed, but then I love collecting books, so that quickly went away. So I've split them up into sections. I'm going to start with the non-fiction books that I've picked up this month, so let's just jump right in. The first book that I picked up was Lion by Saru Brearley, previously published as A Long Way Home, a memoir. This is out as a film, I believe, at the moment, although, and if it's not, it's shortly going to come out. It's about a man's journey to find his way home after he lost his parents, or his mother I think, when he was a child in India. So that looks really, really good. Next is Carrie Fisher's The Princess Diarist. I've heard a lot of people talk about this on BookTube since she sadly passed away at the end of last year. This follows her time filming some of the Star Wars movies, and there are diary entries in here from that time, and there's also some poetry in here which I've heard is very, very good, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. Next is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. Again, this has just been published and it's getting quite a lot of praise. This is about a neurosurgeon, I think. He's a neurosurgeon. Yes, he's a neurosurgeon, and he's diagnosed with terminal cancer. So it's a book about him as a doctor and then as a patient. I think it's going to be a really sad read in some ways, but I think it's going to be a really powerful read in others. Next up is Sully, Miracle on the Hudson, and this is previously published as Highish Duty by Chelsea B. Sullenberger. Again, this was made into a film starring Tom Hanks, which came out recently, and I remember when the plane hit the Hudson River and how awful it was, but also how much of a miracle it was at the same time. I'm really interested in sort of planes and flying and how all of that kind of stuff works, so I think this will be really good from one of those perspectives. And the last non-fiction book I have is The Little Book of Huga, I think it is, The Danish Way to Live Well by Miki Viking. I've probably pronounced that completely wrong. Again, this has just been published, and I've seen this quite a lot on BookTube. It's kind of a little book all about the Danish way of living, and it's got recipes in it, and it's got kind of like what you should be doing to kind of chill out, and how you should be putting your home together and things like that. So there are stuff like this in here. So there's some really nice pictures in here, and there's some really nice information. I think this is probably more of a coffee table book, one to kind of dip in and out of while you're kind of watching the TV or chilling out on the sofa or whatever. And I have dipped in and out of it a little bit so far, and I'm really liking that. The next set of books that I have to show you are continuations of series. So the first one is The One by Kira Cass. I read the second one in this series, which is The Elite, at the end of last year in December. Talks about that in my December wrap up. So I picked up the third one in the series. Really like this series, really looking forward to continuing on. Then I love me a good charity book shop, so I was in a few of those recently, and I saw Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. It's a little bit of a reflective cover. I read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief at some point last year, and quite enjoyed it. It reminds me a little bit of the Harry Potter series in terms of the fact that you've got a boy who doesn't know his background, he doesn't know what he's capable of, and then he's launched into this big adventure. I quite liked it, so I saw the second book for really cheap, so I thought I'd pick it up. And then lastly, series wise, I have books 3, 4 and 5 in the Mortal Instruments series. So I've got, what do they go in? City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls. I read City of Bones, I think a couple of years ago now, and I thought it was alright. yeah, I was quite interested. I think it was like a 3-star read for me or something like that, but I've never really thought about picking up the others. And then I saw all 3 of these in the same charity shop, and they were 99p each, and they were the same edition as I've got for City of Bones. And I thought, well, I can't really pass up picking those up. So I need to look for the 2nd and the 6th one now, and then I'll have all of them in the same edition. So I won't obviously be reading these until I pick up the 2nd one, but I've got them ready for when I do. And then the last set of books that I have are all of the fiction books that I picked up, sort of like the standalones, and there are quite a few of these, so I won't spend too long talking about them. But we'll kick off with Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. I'm currently buddy reading this with Lorna from Suddenly Lorna. She kind of put a tweet out saying she wanted to reread it before the 2nd one came out, and who you know, is there anybody who'd like to do it with her? So I said, oh yeah, I'd love to. I didn't know anything about this going in, apart from I've watched the trailer for the movie before, but this is a zombie book. But it's so much more than a zombie book, and I'll talk more about this in my January wrap up. Next I have The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. Again, I saw the trailer for the movie a couple of months ago now when I went to see Bridget Jones's Baby. Never heard of the book before. The movie looked amazing, and then I saw a copy of the book in Sainsbury's for relatively cheap, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's about a couple who live on this island, I think, yeah, the Lighthouse Keeper's Island, and a baby kind of floats ashore, and they decide to keep the baby and bring it up. And like I said, the trailer looked amazing, so I'm looking forward to picking up the book. Next I have one that's been talked about on BookTube a lot recently, and that is The Unseen World by Liz Moore. I've seen Prue's Project talk about this, and a couple of other booktubers as well. This is about a science professor who's diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and then he leaves some clues on a disc for his daughter to kind of pick up. I don't know, it's just, yeah, people have raved about it, so I saw it in Waterstones and I thought, well, I'm going to have to pick that up. Next I have Claire North's The Sudden Appearance of Hope. Again, Prue's Project talked about this last year as being one that she really enjoyed. This is about a girl who no one can see, I think. Yeah. Or they see her and then they forget about her. So it says on the back, "My name is Hope Arden. I am the girl the world forgets." So either people see her and then forget about her, or they can't see her. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard people say good things about it, so I thought I'd pick it up and give that a go. Next I have one that made the top books of 2016, people's lists a lot at the end of last year, and it was the Waterstones book of 2016 as well, and that is of course The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. So this is this gorgeous Waterstones exclusive edition. It's absolutely beautiful. So I read in January Sarah Perry's her first book, before I picked up this one, so I wanted to do them in order. This is about, I believe, a woman who moves from London to Essex, and she is told about a serpent that lives in the local river or something, like, or the local estuary, and it's about kind of, so it sounds a little bit magical, like magical realism maybe, or something along those lines. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to giving that a go. Next up I have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Again, it's a bit of a trend here. Prue's Project talks about this as being one of her favourite historical fiction books. She raves about this. This is about a couple of sisters and their lives and the way they develop during the Second World War. Yeah, and that Second World War and kind of what happens to the two sisters. So I think this cover is amazing. So I picked this up on Amazon during the month, and I'm really looking forward to giving that a go. Next I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier in this really nice vintage modern classics edition. It's absolutely beautiful. I picked this one up because of my classics challenge that I'm doing this year, so I wanted to read at least 6 classics during the year of 2017. I'd heard a couple of people talking about this one in particular. For example, Lauren from Lauren and the Books, I think this was her favourite book of 2016, and I've heard Olive from A Book Olive talk about this. So I thought I'd pick it up. I have actually read this before, and I've since finished this during the month of January, so I'll talk about it more in my wrap up, but yeah, pick that up. Next up I have A Guide to Being Born by Ramona Orsabel, I think you pronounce that. I saw this on Scribbles Ree's channel as being, she had it as one of her favourite books of 2016. Never heard about it before, but the way that she described it made me think straight away, yeah, I'll have to read that. These are stories all about being born. So it says here that it's divided into 3 sections. A Guide to Being Born charts the cycle of transformation from love to conception to gestation to birth. And there are 11 stories in here. So yeah, the way that she described it made me think, oh well, I'm really interested in that, so I picked a copy of that up. Next I have The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. I've heard Acacia from Acacia Ives talk about Sarah Waters quite a lot lately, plus quite a lot of other booktubers talking about how great Sarah Waters' writing is and how she's a great historical fiction writer. So I saw this in a charity shop for 99p I think, and I thought, well, that's an indication that I've got to get that. This says it's 1922. Gentile widow Mrs. Ray and her discontented daughter Frances are obliged to take in lodgers. Lillian and Leonard Barber, a modern young couple of the Clark class, bring with them gramophone music, colour, fun and dangerous desires. The most ordinary of lives, it seems, can explode into passion and drama, a love story that is also a crime story. This is vintage Sarah Waters. So that sounds really interesting, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. Next up I have Cutting for Stone by Abraham Verghese. I've had this on my Amazon wishlist for, I would say, about 2 or 3 years now, and I found this in a charity shop recently, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to get that. This is, I believe, about 2 siblings who are separated at birth, I think. Yeah. And it's about how they... Yeah, I'm not exactly... It says a hidden love, family secrets and a country in turmoil on the front, so it's one that people talk about a lot in terms of being really, really good. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it's about. Next I have Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. Olive from A Book Olive talked about this as being one of her favourite books from last year. So again, saw this in a charity shop and thought, oh, I'll get that. This is, I believe, about a post-apocalyptic world where we've got a virus that's killed off a lot of the population, and it seems to be about the preservation of art in some way. It's like Shakespeare and stuff on the back, but I'm not entirely sure. But when this first came out and this was first published, people raved about it, so there we go. I picked up a copy of J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy. I found a hardback edition for, I think, something like £1.35, so bargain. I didn't want to pick this up when it was first published. I didn't know whether I was really interested in her adult fiction. I've read the first one of the trilogy that she wrote as Robert Galbraith and quite liked it, so I thought, well, I'll give this one a go. I've heard more, my husband referred to it as it was panned, but I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, so I've got to really pick up everything that she's written, so I picked that one up. And then I have a hardback edition of Maestra by L.S. Hinton. This is supposed to be a thriller. So it says on the back, a spectacular fraud in a London auction house, a barefoot lover running through the Paris streets, a colossal theft from a billionaire's yacht, a vicious murder under a bridge in Rome. They started it, she'll end it. So again, this was a really nice, practically intact hardback edition for about £1.35 as well, so pick that one up. We're on the home stretch now, guys. I've just got a few left to show you, so well done if you're still watching. I picked up a copy of The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. Simon from Savage Reads put this on his best of 2016 list, and I really trust his opinion. He reads really diversely and lots of different kinds of things. Not entirely sure what this is about. It seems like it's sort of about village life and something goes on in a village, and that sort of idea. Oh, Mrs. Creasy is missing and the avenue is alive with whispers. So there we go. I've got here a copy of Silence by Shusaku Endo. Again, this has been turned into a film recently. I've heard this is very good as a book, and the trailer looks quite good as well, so yeah, not quite sure what it's about, but I picked it up. Last few, then I have a copy of And Again, a novel by Jessica Chiarella. And again, this made Scribbles Reads top books of 2016. The way you described it just made me think I've got to pick that up. It's about living your life anew. So they pick up, there's a programme where 4 terminally ill patients are given genetically perfect bodies. Their new bodies are exact replicas of their old selves without imperfections. And it's about those 4 people learning to live with these new bodies again. I thought it looked really interesting. Last 2, I picked up a copy of The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. Eugenides? Yeah. So, says the mysterious Lisbon sisters obsessed the entire neighbourhood long before the first suicide of Cecilia, the youngest. Looking back over the strange and hazy year that followed, men recall the boys that once were and try to impose order on a tragedy that defies explanation. For still the question remains, why did all 5 of the Lisbon girls have to die? It's a bit of a sort of modern classic, but not. So yeah, I picked that one up. And lastly, I saved the best until last, I think. I'm probably the most excited about reading this book. And it is Homegoing by Yar Jassi. I was in Foyles and they had this for half price, and I've seen so many people talk about it, recommend it, say that it's the best book that they read in 2016. In fact, I've not heard anybody say anything negative about this at all. And this is about 2 sisters from the Gold Coast in Africa, and one is sold into slavery and one becomes a slave trader's wife, and the consequences of their fates reverberate through the generations that follow. So, like I said, I've seen so many people absolutely rave about this book. So I thought, and then I saw it for half price in Foyles because I didn't want to pay full price for the hardback, and it's a really nice hardback edition, but I didn't want to pay full price for it, and I saw it in Foyles for half price, and I thought, well, it's just a given. Gonna have to. So there you go. That's it. Well done if you made it to the end. Let me know down below if you read any of these books and which one you think I should start with first. Like I said, I'm most excited about Homegoing, so I'm probably going to pick that up kind of like the first out of all of those, although I am in the middle of one and have read one already. So yeah, a massive January book haul, and I'm going to have to be a little bit perhaps conservative in February about what I buy, especially because my TBR is massive. So yeah, like I said, leave me a comment down below telling me if you've read any of these, what you thought of them, which one you think I should pick up first. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!